Okay, so I realized that I wanted to talk to you more about images, and I don't like this image with the wavy. Anyway, so I want to show you that in addition to Google Images, you can also free stock photos. Pexels, Unsplash, Pixabay. There's a bunch of sites that have these stock photos people share. Obviously, you can take your own pictures if you'd like to and insert them right into your web page. If I go to Pixabay here, you can search. I'm going to search Canada flag, and they have a bunch here. Well, it's kind of funky. Let's just take a nice, clean, simple one. You click on that. It's a free download, and it even gives you some size options. I'll just take the smaller one because we just have for a small little random quiz. You can hit download, and it put it, oh, this time it automatically, if I hit show in folder, it automatically put it into my downloads folder. All right, so now I can rename this. I'm just going to rename it a simple Canada flag.png. I'm going to hit Control X, and then we'll go to our F drive and find this wonderful folder, and let's paste it, and we can get rid of we'll delete the wavy one. Okay, and that should now, it's broken now, right, because it can't find it. So we've got to update this right here under the image source, images / canadaflag.png. Save that, and it refreshes. Beautiful. Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was this image here had a huge resolution, and we're shrinking it down to 300 pixels. We can also use an image editor. So if I go to my images folder here, Kung Fu Panda, I've installed a program called paint.net. If I right-click on this, I can go open with paint.net. So it's not your basic paint that comes, it's a downloaded paint.net. It should be on all the machines at the school here, I believe. It's kind of an alternative to Adobe Photoshop, right? It's got a lot of powerful tools, but it's free. I think you can donate. There's a paid version, or you can download it for free from a different source. Anyway, if we go into here, we can go to the image, and you can do all sorts of editing here and jazz it up. And this magic wand is great for transparent backgrounds. You just click on the background, hit delete. This is already transparent, but if you ever need to do that, it comes in handy. I want to go to image and go to resize. And it's 5.7 megabytes, right? Which is a measurement of how much memory it takes on the computer, this is quite large for an image. 1200 by 1239 pixels. I don't need that. So I'm going to maintain the aspect ratio, and I'm just going to bring this down to 300 myself. And notice now, instead of megabytes, it's kilobytes. Okay, and I believe there's 1,000 kilobytes is 1,000 bytes, and there's 1,000 kilobytes in the megabyte. Anyway, so it's quite a bit smaller. I hit OK. It shrunk it for me. I can hit save. Yes, all the settings are fine. OK. And now it's smaller. And when I go to my code, I now can get rid of this width 300 pixels, because if I don't specify a width or a height, it should just to make sure it's refreshed, it's still that size. Right? And now it takes up way less memory. So when you've got a big web page with lots of images, sometimes the web page will take some time loading. This will be faster. Okay, so paint.net is a useful image editing tool. There's lots of things we can do with it, but that's good for now. Resizing, and then the Pixabay and Unsplash, all these free stock photo websites can come in handy sometimes too. Okay, let's continue on now. That's images. Let's look at links now. Okay, so links are basically, when you have a web page, you want to click on something and take you to a new page. To do that, the A tag has an opening tag and a closing tag, and whatever is in between the opening and closing tag is what you will click on, right? And then it has an attribute in the opening tag, an href attribute, which stands for your hyperlink, and that'll be your hyperlink reference, and that'll be the address that you'll go to when you click on the link. Okay, so I'm going to suggest, I'm going to put a little, I'm going to hit enter here, and after this I'm going to do a little hint. And I want that hint to be a link that'll give them a chance to go to a separate page, some Canada page. Okay. One thing to note here, I'll go to the next line, maybe I'll hit some extra spaces. When I save this, you'll notice that the hint just shows up right below here, right after here, sorry. And that's because the web browser ignores extra white spaces, extra tabs and spaces, and it just does the bare minimum of one space. So I can go down here and it'll still go where I want it. This just gives me a little more room, because if I go my A tag, and I cut and paste, right? So the hint is going to be my A tag. Now you can't see that it's a link because the A tag doesn't do anything until you add an href. Right? Now you can see, oh, it's this underlined link. Usually it's by default blue. For some reason, this is usually the visited color. I've gone to an empty place before. Anyway, so let's find some Canada website. Canada.ca home, sure. Government of Canada, whatever. So I'm going to take the web address here, copy and paste that into the href. We'll save that. And now when I click on this, ta-da, it takes me there. And I've got to go back to my page. All right. If we wanted it to open in a new tab, we can add another attribute to the start tag called target. And if you go underscore blank, target underscore blank will open it into a new tab all on its own. And I can just close it and the quiz will still be there. Okay, that is links. Awesome. What's next? Lists. Okay, so UL. So this UL element, again, opening tag, closing tag. And inside of the UL, there's some nested LI elements. LI stands for list item. UL stands for unordered list. And this, by default, just each of these list items will become a bulleted item. And then there's also OL, which just stands for ordered list. And then the list items will have numbers. And apparently there's a start attribute you can do to tell it what number to start with. There's all sorts of settings and styles you can do. But we'll just do the basics for now. So for this one, which of the following is not a piece used in chess? We could just list, pawn, comma, knight, comma, and then we'll give a wrong one, cardinal, instead of bishop. Anyway, we could just do it to a list at the end, but let's turn this into an actual list. So I'm going to go after the paragraph. I'm going to do an unordered list, and I'm going to add a list item, pawn, and another list item, knight, pawn, knight, cardinal. That'll be the incorrect answer. It should be bishop, rook or castle, queen, and the king. Oops, king. Save, and now you can see it's got these bullets. And if I just change this to an OL /OL, that would make it an ordered list and it would be numbered. But we want it as a UL, so Control Z to undo, save, and there it is. Okay, so those are lists. That comes in handy sometimes. Oh yeah, one thing I also wanted to comment, please, 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 please feel free to play around with this quiz, change the questions, change the images that you use. I strongly recommend that actually to get you to practice doing this yourself. Also with these videos, if you're following along and coding with me, that's great. Some people like to do that, and then the code's there, and you can edit it and change it. Other people like to just sit and watch, and then work on their own stuff or on the assignments and stuff that I'll show later on. But yeah, please play around with the code. It's one of the best ways to learn. Watch me, that's great. But yeah, play around, change things, make this quiz about stuff that you are interested in. I like chess in Canada and Kung Fu Panda, apparently. Okay, how much time do we have here? We have one more time for, audio. No, you know what, let's save that for a new video. Right now, we've got our headings, we've got our horizontal rules, our H2 headings, paragraphs, a link, images, a list. We got lots of HTML elements. That's awesome. Okay, so in the next video, we'll take a look at audio and buttons and input elements. We should be able to do all three, I think, in one video. And then the fun begins, because then we can start adding style. So far, all of this is just the default styles that the web browser just does automatically. We can control this way more once we start getting into CSS and styles. All right, anyway, hope that made sense. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.